afternoon, and how is everybody doing? I thought I would jump on since I'm actually at home and got some time to talk about about the sort of revolution that's happening in the health world and all the people that I'm meeting, and how there's a shift going on away from the traditional ways of looking at the body, and an understanding about the language that we've been using to describe what the body's doing. So first of all, I just wanted to look at some of the science around beliefs. What are you believing about your body? And are you believing everything that you're told? Because we know from Kelly Turner's research that she interviewed, was it like over 10,000 people who had defied the odds, and basically that meant people that were told that they were going to die, but who didn't. And so she came up with the top 9 things that they all did. And the thing that really surprised her most, well, one of the things that really surprised her most was they listened to the voice in their head. Your intuition, you could argue. And the other thing that was really interesting about the 9 steps to radical remissions was that only 2 of them were actually physical. The people that had turned it around in her research were far too ill to exercise and far too weak. So that's a really fascinating place to be, because most of us at that stage, let's face it, would probably give up. You'd probably be tired, and you would probably have fully taken on the story that the body was giving up on you. So now that for anybody that follows me, you will know that a lot of my clients have been diagnosed stage 4 terminal. And that simply means there's stage 1 to stage 4. So when you are told a stage, I mean, nobody wants to hear the word cancer anyway. I'm using cancer right now, but we can talk about things like Parkinson's, MS, other things that are allegedly incurable that aren't. But you're not allowed, you've got to be very careful what you say, because you're not allowed to say that you can cure anything really, because of the Cancer Act from 19 Only the pharmaceutical companies are allowed to say that they can cure, which we know they help some people, but there's a lot of people that they don't help. But anyway, that's a side note. So therefore, a lot of the stuff that people are doing, especially now that people are really getting into the dewormers, because obviously it's a common knowledge now to a lot of people in the more natural world that parasites and worms live in us, but they can become out of hand, and when the body puts them into a place to store them, that can then be diagnosed as a disease when it's a parasitic infestation. But it's not as simple as that. It's not always just the parasites. Fungus as well is said to be prevalent in most cancers, which simply means that you've now gone into a terrain, the body's in a terrain state that allows disease to proliferate. So as we move away from, it was interesting, somebody commented the other day that they didn't know there was a choice of cancer treatments, because what would happen is when you go to the doctor and then go to the hospital, is that you would get a package depending on the kind of cancer that you would have, and you'd probably not have that much say in it. They would tell you what to do exactly. And lots of ways, of course they have to, because how do we know anything about chemotherapies and radiation, etc.? But what's happening now, there's a trend and a movement that I'm hearing about, and you maybe not be hearing about, but because I live in this world, to take more of the matters, not always all of it, maybe take some of the treatment, surgery perhaps, and then instead of doing chemo or radiation, trying to change things with diet, fenbazidol, etc. Now, I'm not saying what you should do, because I'm not allowed to, and I wouldn't want to anyway, because what you have to do is what makes you feel safe. And what will make you feel safe is what you believe. But for a long time now, and especially since Danielle Walsh died, I've been saying we need a place for people to go that either don't want to believe there's nothing that they can do, or for people that don't want to take the conventional treatments. And that's a growth market as well. A very niche few have the courage to take that road less travelled, but it's definitely happening. So, and our big issue is, if you get diagnosed and you decided that you didn't want to go down the conventional route, there is nowhere else for you to go. And I've always said this from the very start with Heal Scotland, we have to change that. There has to be a place where people can come that are not happy with believing that there's nothing that they can do. I mean, it seems mental to me in today's age of information, and with the hundreds of thousands of people who have defied the odds, that people don't know about this, but it seems that they don't. So, what happens when you get diagnosed? Well, anybody that has disease, and it can happen to anyone, it happened to me. There's nobody that is not, that is immune to disease, because things happen in the body. There's so many poisons in our system, so many things, overload, stress. Maybe it's a part of our destiny as well. We don't know. There's things happen out of the blue and we become sick. Even people that really try not to get sick can become sick. So we're all the same in that. We're all in that same boat. It's a possibility for any of us. So, yeah, you can do things to minimise your risk. That's very obvious. There's certain lifestyle factors. But possibly the biggest indicator we're realising now is joy and love and an ability to stay in these higher vibrational states. This is just your emotional state. If you have a very hostile perception of the world, it can have a very detrimental effect on your health, because what happens is you switch on the stress hormones and you're dripping these hormones into the body all day, every day, when they were really only ever designed for short blasts and quick uses, where the body can get into fight or flight or fawn or freeze, and you can get yourself out of danger. So what happens now is, if you get a diagnosis, and there's a lot of people sick, I'm sure you know people, maybe it's you, maybe somebody in your family, the language that we use, it is used by our medical system to describe what the body is doing, is terrifying. And we have tons of data around fear. And so we need to stop describing the body as if it's useless, is on a one-way trajectory. Because if you believe that can be your future. Now, I was talking to a lovely couple yesterday about this, because I don't know. I mean, my strategy is never go near the hospital unless I absolutely had to. I do not want tests. I'm very, very equipped. I know my body. I'm like, right, okay, I need to do this, I need to do that. Absolutely equipped with all the natural things that I can do. But if I ever, for any reason, had to go there, I don't want somebody telling me I'm going to die. Terminal, aggressive, stage 4, all of that language. No way. Because I don't know if I would be strong enough or if I would just give up. So that's my strategy. Again, I'm not recommending that to anybody. But if you find yourself in the system with that, you have to be really, really well educated before you go in, to make sure that you're not going down somebody else's path. Because the reality is, there's so many thousands of people diagnosed now on a daily basis that you get a package, and that package may not actually be right for you. Have you ever actually had a deep dive into your own history to discover why the body's communicating the way it's communicating? we have an understanding now around the unbelievable intelligence of the human body. And you'll hear that people are waking up, we're remembering who we really are. We're breaking out of this illusion of fear and darkness where how dare somebody tell me I've been living in this for 65 years. How does this total stranger know what's going on in here? Oh, it can maybe say there's a lump, can maybe say it's malignant, but that it won't be cured, that I can't take matters into my own hands and change my diet, deworm, do a good parasite cleanse, meditate, pray. All of these things in the Western medical model, we don't even talk about the spirit. We don't even talk about faith. And now I've come to a place where I'm like, faith is perhaps the most important thing in our lives. Now, I don't care what you believe in. It's in the 12-step program as well. And it's in Kelly Turner's Radical Remissions. Believe in something higher than you. Now, why is it so difficult to believe that the body can heal? Why is it so easy to believe that you're going to die? The body's turned against you. And you've got no idea, you're overwhelmed, you've no idea why the body's doing what it's doing. Because we don't understand the language of the body. We don't understand the body as an intelligent system that will communicate to us through feelings, often words, pictures, meeting the right people. I'm going to get this couple on that I was talking to yesterday because their story is incredible. Oh no, I'm not going into it just now. But yeah, so and I've been talking about this for ages, a place where people can come and they can learn all the things that you can do, where anybody who's been diagnosed stage 4, or anybody can come, doesn't really matter what your diagnosis is, but I primarily see people that are living in fear. And very often when you've had treatment and then it stops, you're kind of left in this limbo land, not really sure what to do, maybe even a bit worried that it will come back, what's going to happen, and when you're getting the next scan and all that stuff. It's crazy. It's absolutely bonkers what we do for your mental health. Mental and bonkers. So how can we help people to understand, maybe it is your time, I don't know, I don't get to decide, but maybe it isn't. If you just understood, hi Nicole, maybe if you just understood a little bit more about the magnificent energy system, about the ecosystem, about the microbes that live on and in you, about fungus, about heavy metals, maybe you could get an extra few months, few years, who knows? But we're not even trying. It's 2025. We have all solid data, solid understanding. Even take trees being in the forest, raising your natural killer cells, 56% in 3 days. Why are we not? Everybody's suffering from disease in the forest. Why are we not creating healing? Well, we are. But why have we waited till now? The government's not going to do this. The politicians are not going to do this. They've not got a clue. I really genuinely think they've not got a clue. I used to think that they were evil, but now I just think they're clueless. So we know about the forest. We know about the power of the forest. We absolutely categorically know about food as medicine. We know about herbs. We know about meditation. If you've not watched Joe Dispenza's The Source yet, you have to watch that. Now, I understand that some people listening to this will be like, she's not a doctor. I'm not a doctor. I'm a hairdresser. I'm a fitness instructor. I'm a nutritionist. I'm an energy worker. I don't care about any of that. None of that matters. The idea, anybody that still thinks you need a medical doctor to heal should not be listening to me, should not be in my page. Get away, because I'm just going to trigger you and annoy you. And it's a free world. This is my house. You come into my home, my social media. I'm not wanting to fight with anybody. If you don't believe in the body, if you don't believe in all that stuff, fine. fill your boots with drugs. It's everybody has to do their own thing. I'm not trying to convince anybody. I'm not going to fight with anybody. This is for the people that are seeking already. There's something inside telling them, I'm not giving up because somebody told me. Like, what? As if. But where do you go? It can be a lonely journey. You're trying to change your diet. You're trying to keep up with the protocols. Maybe coffee enemas are in there. Trying to find organic. There's all that stress and cost. Let's not kid on. So, and this is a situation I've been obsessed with for decades, since I heard that voice coming through my head 33 years ago, that we would be appalled that we did this to children in 30 to 40 years' time. Well, we're coming up to that time now. Is there another way? Yes. And here's the thing that I want to find out. So if you went to the Beatson, and nothing against the Beatson, I know that there's beautiful people working there, but it's not a place I would ever want to go. And everybody, and you go in there, and this has happened to my friend, and she did not want the treatment, so she was treated quite badly by a lot of people, not everyone, because they thought she was an idiot. And because she chose not to take the treatment. Nobody believed she could heal. Now imagine you come to the Healing Oasis and everybody there knows it's a potential in the field. So you've got 30 or 40 people around you that know you can heal, or you've got 30 or 40 people around you that think you're an idiot. How do you think that affects your healing? Hi, Gail. So this is the other thing, and the more I'm learning about 528 and energy and vibration, the more excited I'm getting. Because when young mums come to me, and that's usually who it is, diagnosed stage 4, I can't help them in an hour a week. I can help the fear. But if you're dotting in and out the system of fear and terror and trying to, then I'm coming in and saying, let go of the fear, and then you go back, you get terrified again. It's ping pong, fear, faith, ping pong. It's more torture. And I'm aware now, I don't want to put more stress on these young mums or whoever it is. Some, there's some men and there's a few without children, but it's not easy to do all these protocols, especially if you're a million miles away from that in terms of your diet and your lifestyle. And our community, the library for all the things that you can do for free, to detoxify your home and to limit the toxic burden on the body. All that information you can get. We're going to create this incredible library. We're creating a list of healers and people that really truly get this stuff. And all the things that you can do. There is no one size fits all, right? And it would be actually quite nice if there was, because then you could just say, do this, do this, do this, do this. There's a myriad of diets for cancer, MS, Parkinson's, lupus. They all work. But what you have to decide is, can you stick to it? Because no diet will work. Think about just losing weight. Everybody knows what to do losing weight, mostly. Cut down the carbs. I'll tell you if you don't know, get up your protein. But can you do it if you're addicted to sugar and addicted to carbohydrates? Somebody actually emailed me and said, set up clinics all over Scotland for obese sugar addiction and obese people for free. Like, I don't exactly know how I'm supposed to make that happen. It's not something I'm even vaguely interested in. That's not what we're going to be doing. Because we don't have the facilities and the expertise. But the thing about food is, if you're trying to get off heroin, marijuana, wine, whatever, you can actually put yourself in places where it's easier. But with food, it's a much trickier challenge because it's everywhere. And budget, I don't care what people say, budget comes into it hugely. And then a lot of the budget foods are laced with shitty salts and sugars and rancid oils, which, over time really affect your digestive system. So here's what we're looking at now with this new understanding, thanks to Joe Dispenza. My God, I love that man. And the energy that we're allowing to flow or not flow through the body. And it's interesting because, I've been taking this very big interest in the story of Jesus. Now, I'm not ready to say I'm anything yet, because it's still story-like to me. But I'm intrigued by that. I mean, turn the water into wine. I mean, I'm sure he didn't put a load of preservatives and shite in it. And he never talked about diet and what you were eating and all that. But what he talks about all the time is kindness. Love your neighbour. And that's something that we're really, really bad at. I don't know, certainly in Scotland, it's just like, oh my God. Gossip, blaming, shaming, and complaining. Like, what? We're all in this together to try and heal Scotland, to get ourselves onto that state. We have to get ourselves up into these loving states. We can't be bringing each other down. The thing is, if you try and bring somebody down, or if you bring somebody down, you do affect them and infect them, but you infect yourself too. So it's a wee bit of a oxymoron. You're kind of hurting yourself as much as you're hurting somebody else. So until we can go right, if we want our health trajectory turned around, we've got one of the most beautiful countries in the world. We've got water. And that's a big problem for a lot of people. We've got water. If we stop polluting the seas and the rivers, we've got the most incredible brain food running, the fish in our rivers, the salmon, the trout, the herring, all the cod, all the shellfish, venison, brain food, absolute brain food. Natasha, they don't want us healthy, they can't be. Yeah, well, it certainly seems that way, but we need to really start realising we have the power. We're now, don't get me wrong, there's been nobody banged on and blamed and shamed, complained about Big Pharma like me and the food industry. But now I'm like that going, they're there. And they're there because people buy their products. Now, I blame the government actually more than anyone else, because what leader in their right mind would have their subjects eating shite that's going to destroy their health? And also, they're always so bloody excited about the economy. How is it possible to have a strong economy when everybody's sick and tired? Like, it's just, it makes no sense to me, but there's a lot of things make no sense. But anyway, back to what we're going to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring people that have been diagnosed with let's even just keep the labels out. Anybody that feels drawn towards all the different energy medicines that we're going to be able to provide for you, and the information and the education. Now, it can be very difficult sometimes, especially if you've young kids, to put your focus onto your own health and to take the time and the energy that is required. And this is why I'm so excited about the collective, what we can do as a collective. Because, again, going back to Joe's documentary, enough of us getting into 528. I don't even want to talk about the love tuners right now. I'm still stressed out my nut with that. But anyway, hopefully Monday. If we can get enough of us that are well and healthy and driven and passionate and can see that our way out of this is not more vaccines and drugs and surgeries. If the people that really understand the electromagnetic miracle that the body is, and we can get ourselves up, we can then bring people into that environment and help them to heal. Now, there's going to be a percentage thing. It might be the 80-20. I don't know. Maybe you can tell me what you think. I know that when I ran the community, I had 9 people who were chronically sick and very negative. And so you don't want to be putting people like that together, because misery likes company for sure. And also the complaining, blaming and shaming is like, blow your mind. So what we need to do is be very mindful about how we're going to do this. People that come in that want to brainstorm, network, What are you doing? What results have you getting? And also, how can we monitor? Because we do have technology. Can we monitor progress in a safe way without some slightly controversial methods and going into the medical system again? Because I know a lot of people, we know that a cancer diagnosis can actually cause cancer, secondaries. It's PTSD is such a shock to the system, especially if they're giving you the 4 number. So that can be, you're just overwhelmed and devastated. So how do we then monitor what people are doing? Because I know we can change things. We just need enough people willing to take the road less travelled. So if we can get people together in a positive way, that are not expecting me to fix them, because I can't fix you. I can help educate you, I can help inspire you, I can help you to let go, but I can't fix you because you're actually not broken. You've just, your body's talking to you and you just need to learn the language. So we can bring people together that know what it's like to have had that terrifying diagnosis, to actually be looking like, I'm actually not ready to go yet. We can talk about things like psilocybin for helping break through the fear, CBD, fenbazidol, ivermectin. I mean, probably this video will get taken down on YouTube straight away. We're not allowed to talk about these things, and people are, and I've got a load of other things up my sleeve that I want to tell you about. I'm not going to do it in mainstream social media. I'll be doing it in the community where the trolls dare not go. And again, this may not resonate with you. You may be like, no, I trust the doctors, and that's great. Go ahead and do what you're told. The other thing is though, if you've had treatment and you're looking to stay well, I think that's another really good place. If you're like, right, I need to be proactive. I need to talk to people that are, how do you stay well? How do we detox from the treatments? What herbs are going to be powerful for that? And we share ideas around that as well. Because I know my friend who's an acupuncturist, she's a Chinese doctor now as well. She went to Israel and she said it was mind-blowing how far ahead they were from us. And she said that they detox after the chemo with herbs, which just seems to me like a really obvious thing to do. But even then, how do you know if you've detoxed it all out? How do you know, because we've lost so much faith in the body that we really are, we're completely disconnected from, let's feel into it. Let's talk to this baby. Talk to these cells. We know the cells, they can't escape us, right? Whatever we say, do, feel, believe, perceive, the cells get the vibration. And this is where really my big mission is and has been for a long time. Telling people these horrific stories about their bodies. Joe Dispenza calls it the voodoo curse. Bruce Lipton calls it the nocebo effect. Now, if some people just take on the information, other people are a wee bit more discerning. But it's very difficult if somebody's got a white coat in a very serious manner. They tell you, it's all over. And maybe it is going to be. But what we know now is a lot of people are taking that on. They're allowing another human being to predict their future. And again, if you want to do that, that's absolutely fine by you. But if you don't want to do that, then you need to learn. Watch Joe's documentary, The Source, and just understand the metaphysics behind it. Our thoughts are electrical in nature. Fear, you'll feel it, right? You feel it in your heart, you might feel it in your solar plexus, you can feel it all over you. The electromagnetic energies, fear can disintegrate the contents of your bowel. Think about that. Your bowel movement is there. Something happens and it disintegrates. And do you know why that happens? Diarrhea. The body empties the bowels because it thinks it's going to have to run. Maybe you'll vomit because the body's like, let's get everything out of the digestive system so that I can be the fastest, lightest, and most the best escape artist I can be to get away from the danger. I mean, it's all genius. But we've just been, oh my God, the story that we've taken on around the body. And this idea, as soon as you start to feel fatigue, a rash, almost certainly it's coming from your digestive system. So many things are. But there's obviously there obviously are other 20% outside that can happen from other things that have happened. Maybe you've been in an accident, you've fallen off a bike, or fallen down the stairs, or there can any of these things can kick off a trauma in any of the organs in the skin, etc. What do you call it when you hit your head? Oh my God, what's that? Concussion is another really interesting one as well, if you've had any kind of accident. So, and then there's obviously all the, like I was talking earlier on about taking the vaccines to go to India, which just pushed me right over the edge. I didn't realise what it was at the time. It was years later. I was like, oh my God, of course. I'd just taken these vaccines to go, and then I could hardly move when I got to Australia. So there's a wee journey that we've gone on, and we've done things, we've experienced things, we've eaten things, we've drunk things, we've taken things. It doesn't matter. All of that's in the past. We can change anything. But it takes some work. And it takes some dedication. And I always say, we're never going to heal Scotland if it's not fun. And I'm collaborating with some people now and having so much fun because we're so excited about the potential of turning this health picture around. Now it's in sight. Looking at a place, we really need to get some kind of residential space. I was up at the Health Hub in Quarriers, phenomenal centre. You can get thermography there as well now. Because for people that don't want to go into the system, it's very much, well, if you don't take what we're telling you to take, go away. So people are not feeling held and supported, and you need that. Even if you feel, well, I can heal it myself, it's still a lonely, scary journey to do it. And again, I'm happy and willing to help anybody that's on that journey. I love it. But I can't be there 24/7. But when we have a place, I can be there, and people can come there whenever they need to get that boost, that inspiration. Because the naysayers, the negative, the people that always want to bring it in, it's okay for her, all of that will get to you. So I'm starting, and I'll have more information on this over the next week, but it's coming very soon. So we're going to bring people together, and we're going to talk about, and we're going to look at ways at how we can measure success. But you'll know, you start to feel better, and you will feel better instantly being around people that know you can heal. And a friend of mine said to me a long time ago, are you not giving them false hope? Well, here's the thing. There's no such thing as false hope. You've either got hope or you've got no hope. And you might flip between the two if you're human. You might feel really hopeful some days, and then, like last week, I was like, I'm giving up Heal Scotland and I'm going to Thailand. Can't do this anymore. And then a few days later, you're like, what are you talking about? So we all go through that. We're all human. There'll be things going on in our lives. There'll be people that, just make you want to give up. And that's why it's even more important right now to be around the people that support you and love you and see the bigger picture. This is not about me. Heal Scotland is a cooperative for the people, by the people. I've been saying this, and people need to see that. I volunteer for Heal Scotland, so I'm not Amazon. Everybody's got to take responsibility. And take responsibility for sharing the events. And it's like, you need to do this, you need to do this. No, I don't need to do anything. What are you doing? Can you help? Are you part of the solution? And if you're not part of the solution, then guess what? You're part of. And if you're not interested in change, because this is what this is about, massive change in how we see the body and how we deal with this, and changing the way people talk to us about our bodies with no respect. How can you possibly know what's wrong with me in 10 minutes? You can't. It's not possible. We need to be working with doctors and with all these incredible complementary therapists that are around, finding the story. It's a puzzle, right? You have to work it out. Oh, thanks, Pam. I'll give you a call, actually, re your results. So it's really, really important that every single one of us takes some responsibility. We're not going to change this health trajectory without people taking action. And that's the big problem with democracy. We just think, oh, somebody else will fix it. They're not going to fix it. We'll be stuck in the pharmaceutical model forever, the laughing stock of the world. I met Tullio Simoncini, who's been healing cancers with bicarbonate of soda. Not every cancer, but some. And he said to me, you've got no chance in the UK. It is owned by Big Pharma. Now, we know now that people are getting paid to medicate us. That's not medicine. That's madness. But you have to take responsibility for taking it on and believe in your body, your incredible body that started off as one cell that divides and divided and divided and made this, needs Bill Gates' bullshit genetically modified food and vaccines. Think about it. It's just mental. Your body doesn't need any of that stuff. It needs you listening. And if you don't understand, I didn't understand. You know that I'm obsessed by this stuff. I believe that's what I came here for. Maybe. Because I've got a big mouth, I've got a science head, and I can hopefully make things understandable and inspire you and help you to understand how incredible you are, incredible your body is. But it's very difficult if somebody said, well, you're going to die. And I'm like, well, is that true? But because it brands in your brain, right? A friend of mine who's gone for a few years now, and she did an incredible job. But she took all the COVID vaccines and she couldn't get the horrible things that they said to her out her head. It was branded. She called it the elephant in the room. It just hung there. That is black, bloody magic. Witchcraft. That is the nocebo effect, terrifying people about their own bodies and not even looking to see if they've got fungus, heavy metal poisoning, mercury poisoning, which a lot of us had my kind of age. So many reasons why we're sick, but we're not, oh no, just cut, burn, poison. It's madness. And I'm really, really, really hoping that we're going to be able to turn this around. We've got enough people fully understanding your body is an ecosystem. It may have metals and things in it that it's just alien that are not meant to be inside, including the food. The stress levels we're all under with the ludicrous overheads living in this country. The price of electricity we're paying like 6 times more than anybody else in the world. It's just like, come on, guys. It is time for a revolution. Bringing these people out of that darkness by getting into these much, much higher vibratory states. So, yeah, I'm looking at this place and I'm thinking we get started, we get on it, because I've known for a while, we need a space, we need a place. And I'm thinking we're very close to being able to set one up. Meantime, you can come to the festivals and I'll give you as much of this information as I can. The festivals are a fun way to educate you on all the incredible, incredible things that you can do to help yourselves. And you're going to meet other people that are interested in all this. Now, I was telling somebody yesterday about the first time I heard cancer could be healed with food. And I was like, this is about 20 years ago. I was like, what? Are you? And so I was shocked, right? And I said to my lecturer, are you telling me you can heal cancer with food? And she said, we are not allowed to say we can heal blah, 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 all that stuff because of the Cancer Act. I said, right, let me rephrase it. I've got a diagnosis of cancer and I come to you. Do you send me back to the doctor? She said, absolutely not. And I was like, oh, wow, I need to be that confident. But I didn't get that confident that day. I didn't just go because I didn't know anything about it, but then I started researching. And that's what tends to happen. People start researching after the diagnosis, which is great, but it's way, way better to learn all this stuff before a diagnosis. Because then if the diagnosis was ever to come, if you were went and got one, and it can be handy. I think Deepak Chopra says take the diagnosis, but never take the prognosis. The prognosis is you become a stat. And when you realise that most people that go into the system previously, and this is no disrespect to anybody, we just did, and probably if I'd been diagnosed 20 years ago, I would have done the exact same thing. You just go into the system and you don't change anything. You just do as you're told, and you get what you're told you're going to get, mostly. But now we're like, oh, whoa, there's a lot. It's way, way, way more exciting, but also more complex than that. So our plan is to take that fear out of it, to really understand what the body is. And the two things that we need to not be scared of? Time and death. Because trust me, that becomes the absolute overriding. Time, it's a construct. I think a lot of people now that are starting to understand physics, we're going to talk about this as well. And death, what is it? And ironically, when you really let go your fear of death or how you're going to die, very often that's when the body heals. Faith. So we are looking at this, and I am very, very excited about it, because it's almost like I've been banging on about this for so long, and I can see it now. It's in the ether and it's coming. So yeah, if you are somebody, if you know something, I get messages every day. My friend's just been diagnosed, and my husband, my lover, my whatever, somebody I love. We can't make people do this, One of my friends recently, he decided not to have chemo, and of course the family can come in and shout and scream because they're scared, they want you to live. That's something else we need to discuss. But then when he sat down and talked to them about it and the research, etc., that he'd done, they calmed down, and now they're fully behind him. So there is a lot of education to go on around this, and we will be talking about that. A couple of amazing GPs coming to the Aberfeldy Festival, Peach Wellness Academy. So there's loads of brilliant doctors. We've got quite a few doctors on our community. They totally get it. It's not a competition. We work together to get the best health outcomes for everybody in the country. And there's so many people now not well. We have to start doing this in groups and support each other. It has to come back to communities. And we have to set these places up all around the country so that you can easily access a place, and so that nobody suffers because they don't have any money, because that's freaking going backwards instead of forwards. What century are we living in? That nut job Nigel Farage is talking about the American healthcare system. Like, what? No. We're not having that. But that's why we, the people, have to take matters into our own hands. And no, I'm not a doctor. And if you want a doctor, don't come to me. But if you want to know all the other things that are going on and going around, do. And if you've got any questions, I'll be doing another thing next week. I've obviously got a lot of things going on with the festivals. I'm doing 2 retreats for the vaccine injured as well, one in Oban and one in Barmolach. And I've got 2 goddess gatherings in Edinburgh. And then I've got a month in Skye, and then a month in Cretan. So we've got loads of incredible things. We're doing our very, very best to get this phenomenal information out to you. Even the simple breath work, since I've been teaching the breath work, what it's done for the people that I've met, the excitement around what is possible when you start to breathe and let go. There's so much of what we're doing with the wild medicine breath work that's about the letting go and then seeing the potential. So I think I've probably prattled on for long enough. So if you know somebody, remember the community membership. That's how we're going to be able to pay for this. Pay for a place it's £5 for a month, £1.20 a week. So if you can join the community, that's a phenomenal help. It's if you're a business, it's £12. But if you're not willing to collaborate, don't come in, because it's a big collaboration. Your business is going to grow. You're going to meet other soul traders and like-minded souls. You're going to be. It's just phenomenal when you start to collaborate. And there still seems to be a wee bit of fear around that, but we'll change that as well. So anyway, have a wonderful, wonderful day. I hope you've got some kind of insight and inspiration around what the vision is. We have all sorts of incredible technology to help, and we're looking at ways to measure as well. So the future, energy medicine, it's coming. I'll chat to you all soon. Have a great weekend. Ciao.